Hi everyone, just another touching base again with all the energies that are incoming at the moment and with all of the stargates and portals and that we've had presented at the moment with the solstice and new moons and everything like that. That a lot of us in the last couple of months have been called to go inwards, to have some stillness and sort of part of initiation, but a lot of people that are open and awakened at the moment, or awakening at the moment. We put our hands up for these jobs, and when we're not sort of doing them, our soul will create something in a physical and emotional manner that will give us the option to choose love, fear, or how we're going to deal with when we're presented in these situations. When our soul cries for inwards and we don't listen, we may have physical illnesses or emotional illnesses. And it's not just to say we're not listening, it's just that maybe that's what our soul had set up so that we would actually do the work. And that is, at the moment, with all of these big energies and shifts going in, when they talk about the rainbow bridge, the golden cords, and anchoring in, they're not something out there that we've got to draw that's coming in to do it. That we, the ground crew here, we are the bridges, we are the anchors, we are the people to integrate all of this for the rest of humanity. And in those hard days when you're struggling physically, and it could be weeks or months on end, that you're asked, that your soul chose to do some of these things to be the bridge, they're not comfortable by no means, but your soul and creation wouldn't give you anything that we wouldn't handle. And that comes from me, who I've been through a lot of physical stuff. Like when I say they're hard times and you've got to work through them. So I experienced a major car accident, part of my awakening in 2008. And with that, I endured months in hospital, months of rehabilitation, days and days and hours of surgeries, and which I'm still left with titanium in all my knees, legs, femurs, hips and neck. So when these big energies are calling, they hit me really hard. There's days where I think I can't make it through, but then I realize, no, I chose this. And if I can push through, not push through, but if I can endure and get through, and other people couldn't, then I'm anchoring and being a bridge for the rest of the 90% of humanity that weren't able to take on those roles. So being part of that 10% isn't always easy. And when we're going through those initiations, all those moments where we'll love no matter what circumstances that we're placed in. You could be hospitalized, you could be rendered numb from the waist down for some reason. But these are the moments where the duality of the 3D is, it, am I going to just only choose light, or am I just going to listen to my shadow who is unhealed and be like, oh, not this again, or I have to do all these exercises, or why me, why can't it be these other people that do this job, and why does it have to be me, and nobody's listening to me, and I've done all this work and I'm not even being seen. So when we heal that shadow side and just calm it down and be in the center of love, when we choose to love and be like, and realize, oh, the reason why I've had to be bedbound the last few weeks, and the reason why I've been drawn to go through the physical experiences that I have, is so that my soul chose these so that I could be more grounded, more coherent, and make that choice, a coherent choice to say, yep, I chose this work. I'm not going to be shitty and renege on it and take back the gift that I give myself and to the rest of humanity. If my gift was just to be me, and by being me, and some days it's dancing out in the sun to music, some days it's dressing up in the most funnest things I want, some days it's sewing pixies, some days it's dancing with the pixies, whatever it may be, that how we anchor in and we breathe the bridges, as long as you're in that love zone and not in the duality of the, which is part of the matrix, then we're doing a great job. If we're in the initiations and we get plunged into hardships with our physicality, our emotions, financially, that these are the moments where we get dig deep, and when you recognize and see, oh, wait a minute, this isn't something that's happening to me over and over and over again. This is part of a role that I chose to play, to put love in the sector that I'm able to. So all the people like me that resonate like me, that the love that I give, and when I choose love over the duality of what may be coming in, and I recognize, oh, I've got to work today. Today's work is just overriding negative thoughts in the field, regardless if I'm laying in bed in pain, or I've got a migraine, or I've got emotional stuff going on. As soon as I recognize it, I pull myself in and start affirmations. Self-love affirmations is the best way that I've recognized to get through these moments, so that anything that's negative bombarding the fields, that we can override them. And so, like, you know, I might be awake for half the night or most of the night in discomfort in the body, and that's when the negative stuff comes in, the initiations that are you going to still be choosing love regardless of whatever's thrown your way. And so when you're laying there in pain and you've got ice packs with a migraine and you've got all these negative thoughts bombarding you, and you know, like for example, say at the moment with my injuries and being bedridden, I'm numb from the waist down. So me being able to ground and anchor is still there, just because I can't feel it at the moment. But when I'm sleeping through the night, the negative thoughts that are coming in is things like, you're going to lose your legs, there's something really bad happening, you know, it's not just the nerves, you know. And it's like, stop. My body is fine. My body is beautiful. My body is healthy and well. And so I'll go in and I'll start at the feet. These are the things, if I'm awake for 6 hours at night and I've got negative thoughts and stuff coming in while I'm trying to go through this process, I recognize, this is an initiation process. I'm getting thrown all this negativity in the midst of acute pain and lack of sleep. I'm exhausted. Am I still going to choose love? And there's that moment where I say, oh, why me? And then it's like, wait, yes, me. I'm the one that can do it. I'm the anchor. I'm part of the rainbow bridge. I'm part of the people that choose the 10% to help integrate and help the rest of humanity through. So be like, I love you feet. I love you toes. I love you heels. I love you ankle. I'll go through every part of my body, and I mean every part. So because whenever a negative comes in and it's like, it's like, whoa, go back to where I was. I love my shins. I love my calf muscles. I love my knees. I love my kneecaps. I love my knee bones. I love all of my tendons in my knees. I love my thighs, right? And you go through all the body and you listen to where the space, whether you get to the body part, what negative comes in. And so then that body part might need a little extra love in that moment, because maybe it's holding some kind of trauma, because the body represents also the rest of the whole earth. So when there's things coming up in the body, when I'm going, I love you hips, I love you bottom, I love you yoni, I love my ovaries, I love my kidneys, I love my liver, I love my digestion, I love my heart, I love my lungs. when those little niggles come in and it doesn't feel right, work on that place a little bit more, because that's maybe just on the sector of earth that we're representing in our body may just need a bit more love, a bit more rainbow frequencies, and a bit more light in that sector, just to help rebalance it. Because it's not a matter of the light over dark and dark over light. It's about the balance of them all and being able to keep them in that perfect trinity. Love, light, shadow, all together one. So if I get through those and I get all the way to the top, which I go through my heart, lungs, and all my muscles and in veins and blood, my DNA and everything, my hair, my eyes, my mouth, everything and if I'm still awake and I'm still overriding, I'll just start again and just go over. And by the time sometimes I get halfway through the body, I'm asleep. And I'm asleep with love. I'm asleep with healing. I haven't got negative rolling in me because I've arced up my own light, and that my divinity, your own light, is your protection. I'm not asking for shielding to come in to protect me from these negative thoughts. Because when they're a call for initiation and they're asking you to step into your processes, putting a shield up is like saying, oh no, when you're being given a test, no, I'm not doing that test today. Well, it's part of the job that we sort of signed up for. Some of us, 10% of us. And the more of us that do it, the easier it is for everyone else. And I say more hands on deck. We need more open hearts on deck to take the weight off everybody else. And so when we're feeling heavy and we're feeling burdened, do some self-love. And when I've got to those spaces where, even if I've done 2 rounds of self-love and self to my body, then I'll go into my DNA and my light codes, my key codes. And I'll say rounds of affirmation to every single one. I personally choose to go up to 24, sometimes to 25. But I'll say, I now activate, light up, rejuvenate, unlock, heal, forgive, remember, love. All of my DNA, my key codes, and my doorway now. But sometimes if that's just one I'll just do to keep me going. But if I'm going through the night and I've done all my affirmations and still sometimes those tests of the negatives are rolling in, I will start that DNA process. But I'll start with, I now activate, light up, rejuvenate, unlock, heal, remember DNA strand 1. I now activate, light up, rejuvenate, unlock, heal, remember DNA strand 2. I now activate, light up, rejuvenate, unlock, heal, remember DNA strand 3. I now activate, light up, rejuvenate, unlock, light up, remember, rejuvenate, DNA strand 4. So I go through all of that until I get to DNA 24. And then I go through and say, I now activate and light up all of my atoms. I now activate all of my cells. I now activate all of my muscles and bones. And so I go through whatever I can in affirmations of self-love affirmations to start. Then my DNA activations one by one, saying which one I want, what I want commanded with each DNA and fire code, 1 to 24. You can go to 12 if you'd like. I do prefer the 24, especially if it's been a long night. I really do need to add that extra in. And so the more that you start to light up from within and use your own divinity as protection is such a shitty word. Well, just to say protection and shielding sometimes feels like you're drawing on a tap. Momentarily shielding is really good. But when you're calling, may I call on protection and keep me safe during my sleep, is something that I used to do, and then I realized that I was handing over one, my power, and also making myself vulnerable, saying that I am weak and vulnerable and I need protection from somebody else. So really learning how to self-love, activating your own DNA, and lighting up yourself from within and expanding that out around your Merkaba field, around your body, that is your ultimate protection and shielding or anything. You don't, because you're not vulnerable. You're completely lit up from within. Nothing can penetrate into that. And if it does start to, take that deep breath. See your light lighting up in a beautiful big sphere, golden sphere, and expand it out around yourself. Instead of asking for protection and shielding, you create it from within with your own light, with your own divinity. Then you're not exposing yourself or saying, I'm weak and vulnerable. Please, can I have an outside angel or an outside thing come and protect me now? It's certainly okay to ask for assistance from our dragons and angelic realms and elemental realms and the tree realms, all those beautiful things. But don't give away to them authority to fully take over the job that is your divinity and your light to do. They're willing to assist us by any means, and I mean even our animals are here to help us, but they're not there to take the job for us. Your own love, the light that expands from your love, is your true divinity, is your shielding, your protection, and everything that we all need. All these dormant things that are inside of our DNA. That's what all these oligarchs and dark things or whatever have actually sort of been there to test us. And on a new perspective, those things aren't really dark. They're just the ones that represented to play the role for you to step up, for you to step into your true love, into your true power and true light. And what sometimes might seem really dark and yucky and ugly, I can't believe that person did that to me, I can't believe that happened. It might take a while for you to change perspective, but when you apply the knowledge that we've read in books, you apply the knowledge from ancient texts, from history, and you apply the tools diligently, that's where wisdom is. Wisdom is living and applying the knowledge. Then you recognize that in these moments that these people that seem dark or these things that seemed yucky were actually egging you to become the most grandest version of yourself, to turn on your tools within your DNA, all of that divine technology that we have dormant in our DNA. When we light it up and activate it from within, those beings and those situations become less and less, because you're just lit with love all the time. A balance of duality in the form of coherent love. Then all of those things seem like just an easy class at school. They're not like, oh, not again, or look at these, what are these dark people doing now, or what are they blowing up this week, or the people in government are taking more money and making all these stupid decisions and they're actually interesting workers, because they're making you step up and step in to your own love and to your own power, to the light of your own love and divinity. And so in these moments, if you can take a breath and recognize in the midst of chaos what is happening, take the breath in and realize, wait a minute, this chaos is presenting to me at the moment because I'm supposed to be an anchor. I'm supposed to anchor the love. I am a bridge. How can love and light come through the anchor and over the bridge if I'm shielding, protecting and pushing it away with saying, why me or not again? And anyway, I hope you know what I'm trying to say. So these are the moments to apply them. to be the wisdom, to be the calm, to be the bridge. Try and open your heart and mind and recognize that things aren't getting darker or gloomy, that the body's not shutting down because there's something drastically really wrong. And I mean, you know, if you feel there is, go and get checked out. But, you know, 80% of the time, you find nothing wrong. That it's just in that moment that you're being called to step into who you truly are. Maybe you're supposed to have a rest. Maybe you're supposed to go out in the sun and anchor. Maybe you're just supposed to have some quiet time. Maybe you're supposed to dress up and go and walk up the street of where you live just to put smiles on people's faces. Something I really enjoy doing. Especially when I carry the pixies to town. All I get is smiles when I walk up the street. So whatever it is that you're called to do, just be you. Because your soul chose this vessel to do the jobs that it wanted to do here. So try not to allow the human programming to step into the way and say, oh, I'm not doing that. You're putting a roadblock on the bridge. You're putting a block on the, you're stopping the anchor from coming in and landing, you know. They're not easy, but I'm sharing this and share the things that I've been with, because if we can show other people in humanity and on other planets that all these things are doable regardless of circumstances, that always in a dark room, that there is some kind of light. And if you can't see it, it's because you are the light. You're supposed to be there and emit that light, radiate it from out of you and make that space lighter. Try not to let it consume you. Be that strength. Your soul chose this vessel for you to be that. Honor what your soul chose. Love this body. Falling back in love with it. The new, grander you. Not the programmed us that we've been up until we started our awakening process. It's time to be you. Unhinged, unabridged. Be the love that you are meant to be. Be the light. Be the anchors. Whatever it is that makes you go inside, that's what's going to help more people than anything. If I want to stay at home all day and just dance all day or sing all day or sew or paint all day, those are the things that I've chose to help anchor and bridge in. Whatever it is, what your soul might be. You might like to go and play sports. You might like to do all kinds of exercises. You might like to help animals. You might like to help the environment. Whatever it may be, whatever is your true excitement. By doing those without feeling judged or judged by yourself or outside, and just doing them with joy, that's who you're born to be. Go and be that. Just be you. And so I did have something here that I was going to share. It sort of maybe encompasses what I've said, but I'll just read this out. Collective people of Earth, the time has come to awaken from the hypnosis of fear you have been entranced by for stories. Stories of lack and separation and survival. Survival stories, not of your true origin of the world, but disconnected from source. A great light now pierces the veils, and that is true because you know this is all happening while we're still just coming through this solstice portals. And the fascinating thing that we've just had the incredible, beautiful June solstice, and we've done all these magnificent ceremonies, and then bang, right, what was hidden was now surfacing. What was bound is now unraveling. This may feel like a collapse, but it is the birth. This may appear as darkness, but it is the night before the dawn. We urge you to turn inwards to the technologies You seek adorned within yourselves. The peace you long for begins in your own breath. The leaders you await already among you, disguised as artists, mothers, gardeners, rebels, elders, children, and quiet truth-tellers. We are not being punished as humans, you are being prepared. The earth is not dying, it's awakening. Beloved humanity, be still now. There is no war in the heart of God and creation. You see and hear through the channels of fear is not the prophecy, it is distortion. The rumblings and threats echo an outdated timeline of a fading hologram. Cling to the relevance in a world that is already shifting the old powers. Still speak in the language of domination, but there is no longer held. The pen writes the future for us. You awaken and are writing it now, word by word, thought by thought, act of love by act of courage. There will not be another world war, as we know that the cycle is complete. What is occurring now is the exposure and the collapse of the final layers and manipulation. Remember, the louder the noise, the closer the veil is to falling. The more extreme the illusion, the more desperate its architects have become you. You are not victims of this world, you are the architects of the new world. Do not feed the storm. Do not echo the fear. Do not lend your vision to the timelines that are not of the light or love. Instead, return to the sacred breath. Anchor the peace within you. Radiate the truth in your being. We are done with war, and then we are given an invocation. So, when we are done with war, like I was saying before, the war of the duality within ourselves, light and shadow, polarity, that war when we're being presented with anything in a vulnerable state is, am my unhealed things going to go into war with this? When negative thoughts come in, am I going to go, yeah, well, that's not right, or oh, da, 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 and start arguing? Or am I just going to take that deep breath and anchor into love and let that war go? The war that's happening everywhere resides in all of us. So we have the power to stop it within us, one by one. When we heal the duality and the war of the light and the shadow within us, and we remain in the center in love, that's how we're helping all of the wars across the planet. Not by posting things on Instagram or Facebook or, saying, showing the war, showing the atrocities. Unfortunately, to me, in my eyes, the people that are sharing these things, I feel have war in their hearts. And the people that are showing all the negative bombing, children starving and being blown up and stuff like that, I personally feel that you're giving energy to it by posting these things about it. I see many beautiful Instagram and Facebook pages of artists, of poets, of beautiful people, which inspires me. It inspires me to continue to be me, to do what I need to do that excites me, to bring through the love, to end the war here on earth. I end it here. So if you really do support and you want the war to stop in all of those places, you want the famine to stop, you want the people to stop being blown up and all this sort of stuff, posting things on Instagram is supporting it. It's supporting the negative side of it. If all of you artists, poets, musos, inspirational people Be you and keep sharing that. That'll override everything else. I believe that when we choose love and end the duality or balance duality and share who we were born to be, what we were born to be. Because if you're not in the media, you're not in the news, there's enough propaganda feeding all of that and showing pictures of these atrocities. Let us, artists and these inspirational people, let us share the beauty. Let us be the anchors and the bridge of love that ends the war. Take that deep breath. Ignite your light. The light of your love. Love in every sector. When you walk into the depths of your own darkness, shine love on there. The light of love. When we just shine light on the darkness, you get a retaliation. And then we just back and forth, back and forth. When we go into a dark space, we put love on there. Love, 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 until it lights up. That's the light that we put on the shadow. That's the light that we put into these dark sectors. We put our love in these places, and our love lights it up. Because if we put light into there, it's just going to bounce back and forth. So anyway, here we are. Some of those during this solstice are going to go straight through, not a problem. Awesome, that's the role they chose. Some others of us are going to take a long route or a different route to get through this portal. This solstice may take a month or two to get through. But I personally feel that I'm doing my job. I chose to be the anchor, and I chose to bring the light in. I chose to bring the rainbow in. I chose to be the love. I chose to be the calm. So if it takes me a little bit longer, linearly, to get through this solstice portal, so be it, because that's what I chose. Accept and acknowledge the choices that you make. It makes it a lot easier. I know from experience. I know these things because I go through lots of physical hardship. And I override it with love, with creation, with self-love, talk. Because love is the way. It's the way that we're going to shift this paradigm. And all of those beautiful people that are going through initiation, I love you. You're not the only one. We are all in it together. When you connect in through the heart and you take that deep breath, you can feel everybody. You can feel the support. You can feel that you're not the only one going through this. We don't walk alone. We don't sit alone. We're all in this together. Even if it is 10% of that, however many billions on the planet, I feel very gifted and blessed to play this role that my soul chose. Nadi, Manadi, Pixie Manadi, thank you. Thank you for stepping up and stepping into the role that we chose to play. And to you, I love you. And thank you for stepping in to you and being who you soul chose to be in this now moment. And when we're all finished, we'll all be celebrating together the great grand galactic pool party. Where all of us will be all reunited in our hearts all once again. Anyway, Manati out. Have a beautiful day. Bye.